Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, January 25. We are, as we have been for a long time and will be for a time to come, meeting virtually via Zoom. You can pick up the links for our Village Board meetings as well as the links for other boards and commissions that the Village has at our website, pleasantville-ny.gov. And within a short period of time, you can pick up an on-demand webcast of the recordings of these meetings at pctv76.org, as well as minutes and a transcript that get posted thereafter. So our next regular meeting is the second Monday in February, which is Monday, February 8th, work session at 7 p.m., regular session to follow at 8. So I had a number of announcements to make tonight, and the first is to report the sad news that our longtime village attorney Joel Sachs passed away yesterday. Joel has served the village for 10 or 12 years, and in recent years has remained active even as he was partly retired, but he was a major figure in the legal world in Westchester County, a very prominent environmental lawyer, as well as a thoughtful, engaging, humane man with an impish sense of humor. So very sad news to hear that he passed away somewhat unexpectedly, and we send our condolences not only to Joel's family, but to all of his colleagues at Keen & Bean who serve us so well. So when arrangements are known, we'll all participate in whatever way we can to honor the life of a Westchester legal legend. So. Number of other things to report, but chief on everyone's mind is the world of COVID. I'm gonna share my screen here. So here on our village website at pleasantville-ny.gov, if you scroll down into the quick links section, a second item down is the COVID-19 Westchester County dashboard. So again, pleasantville-ny.gov, second down on the quick links, you click into that and it shows the dashboard tracker that is a relatively new and big advancement over what the county had before. In the left-hand column, the 45 municipalities in Westchester are listed, and the tabs below show active, new cases, and cumulative. So the grim news for the village of Pleasantville is as of today, 81 active COVID cases. That is far and away the highest number we have ever had. I said the same thing last week when we were in the lower 70s. Active cases by the county's determination are folks who tested positive within the last 14 days. Day 15, you drop off the list for active cases. That doesn't mean you're done with dealing with the impact of it, but it means you are believed to be no longer infectious. So 81 active cases today. Scary news, middle tab here, new cases. 24 new cases over the weekend. So these are all folks who tested positive on Saturday or Sunday. Again, an eye-popping number, stratospherically bigger than we have seen before. And then lastly, the third tab, cumulative cases. Village of Pleasantville, total of 485 cumulative cases. Clearly at this rate, will crest 500 within the next few days. I think it likely that these numbers somewhat understate the actual number of cases because of the fact that some are not documented. Bottom line is, as of this date, something like 1 in every 15 Village of Pleasantville residents has had COVID, and something like 1 point something percent of every village resident is currently an active case. So I point out these numbers not only to remind you that you all have access to this data at the county website. You can get to it through westchestergov.com, or as I already showed you, you can go to our website, pleasantville-ny.gov, and click here. So I've said this quite a few times. I will say again that the importance of wearing masks in every public setting cannot be overstated. In a circumstance where we're seeing more positives day to day than we have ever seen, it should be clear to everybody that we all have a shared responsibility to try to protect ourselves and everybody else against the spread of this thing, waiting as we all are for the arrival of a vaccine. So on that front, we had a county call today, as happens on a weekly basis, and the county executive, George Latimer, reported that the county, as you perhaps have heard, has stood up a vaccine center at the Westchester County Center. They are currently vaccinating about 1,100 people per day. Everybody is aware that the appointments for those vaccinations are booked up well into the future. That isn't because they couldn't do more, it's because of the availability of the vaccine. So certainly everybody's hoping that more vaccines will flow into Westchester County, and the sites that are allowed to administer them, not only the county, but hospitals and eventually some pharmacies and other kinds of clinics will get us to the promised land where everybody who needs a vaccine can get one. At the moment, there's quite a backup. We're in currently phase 1B. Phase 1B theoretically makes vaccines available to people over 65, to people who are public safety or essential workers. That includes teachers. I know from chatting with various people that there are lots of folks in those categories that would like to get a vaccine and either haven't been able to get an appointment or have an appointment fairly far in the future. So hopefully each week we'll be able to report some positive news on that. I heard today that the Biden administration believes that they can increase the goal of daily vaccinations fairly substantially, and here's hoping it shows up in Westchester County. One piece of that discussion today with the county was the governor's report today that so-called high-risk sports may be opened up depending on the view of each county health department. So that was, I think, news to the Westchester County administration, but the Westchester County Health Department expects that they will be in a position to opine on that sometime towards the end of next week or at the latest meeting of next week. So that would obviously affect not only village recreational sports, but obviously the school districts. And I know lots of folks are concerned about that. The other note is that we had a meeting the other night with a Zoom meeting with our Parks and Rec Advisory Board and the folks who are on the Pleasantville Pool Task Force that we organized, led by village resident Troy Tassier. Joe and I were on that call. Joe, you want to report on the discussion?
Sure. It was a nice discussion. There was an entire slide discussion where Troy took everybody through from where the pool has been to where it is now, and what problems are we're facing from them. And with that report, there was a great deal of discussion back and forth between, all the various people on the meeting. But one important matter is that on February 8th, is that right? The date of the meeting? February 8th, Troy will attend our meeting and make a similar, discussion about the pool and its environment and a lot of people I think should be interested. There's some nice pictures, and also to hear what is wrong with the pool and what needs to be done. I think is what he's done is he's given us a lot of options for the type of pool, whether the kiddie pool is going to be attached to the main pool or it's going to be separate, or whether the pumps are going to be there's going to be one pump system or two pump systems, things like that. Well, a lot of people, he took a nice sample of the community. Got a really nice sample of people trying to express their own opinion about what the pool should be. And a lot of them tend to agree about, for example, the size of the pool. They like the size of the pool. The question is, though, what pool is going to be there? It's going to be the pool and fix it, or the pool, but just, but rebuild it, or bigger. Who knows? So that's what it's all about.
So thank you, Joe. And again, just to reiterate, Joe said our next meeting, February 8th, Troy is going to make a presentation, and folks who are interested in the pool should either tune into the Zoom link or pick it up afterwards at pctv76.org and hear what has to be said. Essentially, where we are is just where lots of us are when you have an old car. It works fine. We maintain it. If something breaks, we fix it. But we're arriving at the point where a pool that's now 50 or 60 years old and has a bunch of new parts, but a bunch of parts that date back to that age, has probably arrived at the point where we need to think about a new pool or a fairly substantial renovation of the pool, rather than spending a lot of money, for the equivalent of a new transmission on a very old motor. So I do want to remind folks that it is our intention at the moment, COVID permitting, to open our pool as we intended to last year before COVID intervened. The pool works fine. We expect to open it in our normal Memorial Day pool season, but it's almost certain that some aspects of the pool season will have to be adjusted to respond to the likelihood that COVID is still going to be active. And obviously, we always run the risk that the numbers could turn south and we might find ourselves in a different circumstance. But at least as of the moment, it's our intention to have a pool season this summer, and we look forward to having folks enjoy the summer to the extent that it's possible. Further to the previous comments, that vaccine can't come soon enough. So,
and I'll say though that, Mayor, one point that was raised and discussed at quite length was the fact that it is possible that the pool may have to be, not this year, because this year is this summer is just happening now, but possibly next year or the year after, the pool summer can be shortened. It's possible to get the work that's done on the pool done in between the end of one pool season and the beginning of the next pool season. But it's also possible that it could run into the next pool season. So there might be some downtime as well. And we have to sort of work that out. I just wanted to make people aware of that.
So it's not clear what that schedule could be. And obviously part of that is going to depend on what we in the end decide to do. But
right.
Tune in our next meeting, February 8th, and hear more about it. But a really big shout out to Troy and the dozen or so members of the pool task force who've been doing an extraordinarily good job, and a big shout out to the nearly 1,000 people who responded to the survey that fed all this data our way, that help understand what's going on. So,
Peter, can I ask, I presume that it's at the next meeting that we see the results of the pool survey, because
yes.
I haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, okay.
And you'll see it.
And Troy will
circulate to the board in advance of that, but there's still, Troy showed us the preliminary results, but they're still sort of parsing the data. So,
okay.
Eric, can you update folks about the Sawmill Parkway Bridge project? We sent out an email, if you're on our email list, reporting that pile driving was starting.
Yep, pile driving is ongoing mainly during the daytime hours. This is the project that's intending to raise the roadway it's technically a bridge that has been, as everybody knows, prone to flooding. They are trying to get it out of the 100-year floodplain and elevating it by approximately 4 feet. And so right now they're driving pylons into the ground. Superintendent Econom and I actually had a call with the DOT to reiterate some concerns I think that the village has had in terms of potential noise issues that may come about, vegetation management. So they're actually going to provide more details on their vegetation plan, as well as any work that can be done to remediate the flooding issues that we constantly get overflow onto Parkway Field in that area. So it was a productive conversation. Jeff has been in touch with the contractor already and had a site visit about ways that they can alleviate the flooding issue on Parkway Field with relatively low cost means and measures. But in terms of the Sawmill Parkway project as a whole, it does continue. The pile driving, they said, will make noise and cause vibrations over the next several months. So any information I get, we'll be sure to share with the public.
Let me just briefly share my screen for folks who want to know more about it. LowerWestchesterBridges.com. Again, LowerWestchesterBridges.com is this website set up by the New York State Department of Transportation. There are a series of renderings that give you an idea of what they're doing, and then information about the project. Our piece, obviously, is the Sawmill River Parkway. There are some other parts of this that don't affect us. A press release, fact sheet, news, and updates.
Go away.
Amid the set of concerns that folks have about this work, it's obviously going to be a traffic problem for a good long while as well. So again, lowerwestchesterbridges.com is a place to stay in touch with what's going on, and we'll update you as we can as we continue the discussion. Over the last week, Governor Cuomo has rolled out his executive budget in an extremely challenging budget year for the state. I mentioned last time, one of the initiatives that is clearly part of his package is to push forward with the notion of legalizing marijuana. That had been under discussion 2 years ago and was clearly front of mind for the governor and his team last year, but then got sort of pushed to the side by the need to deal with the pandemic. That is back this year. So that will be a subject for lots of discussion. Not only the way in which that's done, now something like 11 states have legalized marijuana, but also the level of local control over where stores and dispensaries might be allowed to locate. So folks who are interested in that subject, concerned about it, in favor of it, against it, whatever, I advise you to keep an eye out. You can see what's going on, obviously, at the governor's website. If you Google Gov Cuomo, you'll go to a website that has lots of very useful information, not only on this, but also on the pandemic. As those of you who follow our meetings regularly are already aware, we're well along in a process that was mandated by the governor for every municipality that has a police force in New York State, and that is a police reform initiative. We've had a series of public meetings via Zoom and have a fifth one taking place this coming Thursday. I'm going to share my screen again. So again, pleasantville-ny.gov. Scroll down into the quick link section. The first one, police reform, gives you an ever-growing list of materials that have been developed. Not only the executive order that led to this effort across New York State and the workbook that Albany provided, but a series of things that have been developed, including copies of the presentations that our police chief, Eric Grutzner, has presented at a previous meeting, and then links to the 4 meetings we have so far held. The first was a general stakeholder meeting talking about the project and an effort to engage as many people as we could. The second was a general public forum. The third was a public forum specifically on the subject of use and force and de-escalation. And the fourth meeting was a couple of weeks ago about police training and police complaint review process. This fifth meeting, which is this coming Thursday, January 28th at 7:30, is on the subject of community policing practices, outreach and communications, and outreach to specific communities. Again, here's the link to join that meeting at 7:30 if you care to do so. Again, pleasantville-ny.gov, left-hand column, scroll to the quick link for police reform. You can click right in and join us in the Zoom link. There'll be a presentation on the subject and then an opportunity for us to hear comments and discussion from members of the public. And then lastly, I want to highlight to everybody right here in the middle, if you have any comment, question, concern, you can send that via email to a special email we set up called policereform@pleasantville-ny.gov. So it's our intention after the conclusion of this fifth meeting to spend several weeks in the month of February putting together some actionable goals that would form the basis for the recommendations included in the report that is due to the state by April 1. Sometime in towards the end of February, right at the beginning of March, we'll present those in another Zoom meeting and let people know what we have proposed and get comment and input on that front. Trustee Paul Alvarez, thank you, Paul, is going to set up a Spanish language Zoom session for folks who might want to participate in that forum. More on that as soon as you have set on a date, Paul.
Yep, of course.
And then lastly, I just want to remind everybody that all of us, including the chief, who's been mightily involved in all of this, view this as not an end in itself, but the end of a beginning. When we file this report, our goal is to have several recommendations that we coalesce around and believe we can do quickly. And then from there, build on the input and the interest of community members, our administration and the police to dig deeper into all of the issues that have arisen. And, certainly one of the pieces of that is improved transparency and communication for all of us. So anybody have anything else to say on that subject? All right, then just a couple of other quick announcements. The parking meters all have stickers on them now that say Pango and tell you how you can set up in a Pango app on an Android or Apple smartphone the capacity to pay for parking time in the village of Pleasantville via phone if you care to do so. So again, take a look at those stickers. If that's a subject of interest to you, take a look. Farm market continues outdoors on Saturdays in the cold weather months. They have an online ordering system that is mostly driving it. Please go to the farm market website and join up. It's a great thing. Lastly, there is a March election that takes place on Tuesday, March 16. The mayor and 2 trustees up for that. Any comment from any of us?
Sure. 2 other small, short announcements. One is we're continuing to work on ways to let folks know what we're doing in a more digestible format, although these meetings are lovely and I'm sure an audience of thousands.
Oh, lovely, that might be hyperbole.
How great they are. But what we've done over the last couple of months is to send out sort of a bullet pointed announcement, quickly honing in on the things that are active that we're working on, as well as local development. You can see that if you sign up for the village emails that's going out that way. It's also posted onto some of the Pleasantville village groups on Facebook. And I'll be doing another one of those after the first meeting of February. So we're going to try month by month to see what the feedback is from that, and we'll continue to evolve that, but it's something that we're working on. The second thing is just to let everybody know As of now, we have 3 declared candidates for the 3 offices that are open. Peter has announced he's going to run again for mayor. I've announced that I'm going to run again for trustee. Michael Peppard, who's on the call right now, is running to be a trustee as well. If there are additional people who are running or collecting petitions and they want to let me know, I'm happy to put together a candidates forum on Zoom that we'll publicize on Facebook, and I'm sure everybody will be happy to answer questions and talk about issues. And I suspect that others on the board would join even if they're not up for election.
So, Mayor, you know, I spoke with you the other day, and I let him know that I will not be running. So my seat is open. And so I would encourage anybody who is interested in running to put together your ballots, not your ballots, but your sheet of names, and you know, run. My seat.
Thank you for that, Joe. Joe's had 2 rounds on the village board, elected way back when, and then had to resign when he was anointed as corporation counsel for the city of Peekskill. After that gig, returned to the friendly confines of the village of Pleasantville. So we will have more to say about Joe Stargiotti and his service come the end of his term. But until that organization night at the beginning of April, he's in the saddle.
Quite all right. Thank you.
All right. Any other announcements of any kind? Is there a question from any member of the public before we go to our resolutions? All right. There being none, I will share my screen again, and we'll start our way through the resolutions. All right.
Usually me, right?
Yes. Number 11, Paul.
Okay. Resolve the Board of Trustees, the village administrator to sign the agreement in the Northeast Westchester Special Recreation Incorporated to jointly operate the therapeutic recreation program for individuals with disabilities for the calendar year of 2021 at a fee of $7,434.82.
Is there a second?
Second.
So the agreement is attached. The Northeast Westchester Special Recreation is a great organization. I believe Matt Trainer, our superintendent of Parks and Recreation, is involved there. Is he on the board?
Yeah, he's a member of the board. Yep.
Yeah. And it's an organization that provides, as stated in the resolution, a therapeutic recreation program for folks who have disabilities that allow all the communities that are participants in it to offer programs specifically tailored to folks in need. So, comments or questions?
I'm just curious if we know anything about how that will take place under pandemic rules.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they've been doing this for years and they continue to do it now. I don't personally know the specifics of how they've managed that. Do you?
Yeah, a lot of it is run during the summer, so a lot of it will take place outside. In years past, they've operated in our pool running programs, so I'm sure they'll have a pretty extensive COVID precautions and have everything in place. But
And likely did last summer. So
yeah, absolutely. And the board consists of public health professionals, recreation professionals, so people that are very much tuned in to the restrictions everybody's confronting right now.
Thanks, Eric.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Number 12, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees has reviewed the account of unpaid taxes for fiscal year end 2021 as presented by the village treasurer and certifies that the accounts and the tax roll have been compared and found to be correct in the total amount of taxes unpaid. And the list is attached.
Is there a second?
Second.
So as is always the case, There are, 90 some odd accounts that are past due. It's not a very cost-efficient way to borrow money because the penalties and interest mount up fairly quickly. So we encourage folks to bring those accounts back into balance as quickly as they can. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 13, Joe.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the village administrator to sign the agreement with O'Connor Davies for auditing services as detailed in the agreement dated January 15th, 2021. For fiscal year 2021, $39,000. For fiscal year 2022, $39,000. And for fiscal year 2023, $40,000. And the agreement is attached.
Is there a second?
Second.
So just reminding everybody that you can see all this stuff in Novus Agenda. Again, you can click into it through our website at pleasantville-ny.gov, and attached to it is the backup for any of the documents that are publicly available. So comments or questions? We've been satisfied with O'Connor Davies, and they are sort of the dean of the industry in Westchester. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. David, number 14.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the minutes of the regular meeting held on January 11th, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second.
As usual, the minutes are attached as well as the word-for-word Zoom transcript. Comments, questions, or corrections on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Back to you, Paul, 15.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments for the year of 2021 as listed below. Budget transfers amount of $10,000 from the account 1990-400 contingent to account 162.417 Village Hall. Sorry, went away. Repair maintenance. Increased revenue and expense of the water fund from the amount of $5,000 to the water transmission overtime account. Another $5,000 from the water non-resident repair to the water transmission outside service, altogether for a total of $10,000. And increased revenue and expense capital fund amount of $10,239.15 for the sidewalk program, 50/50 program, moved over to the account, the capital sidewalk project.
Is there a second?
Second.
That first 10,000 is the sewer problem that keeps on giving?
Yeah, well, we finally received the invoice from the excavator who repaired our sewer pipes. So that was 7,000. So we're moving 10 to give ourselves a buffer we hope we don't have to utilize.
Here's hoping that's the case. Any other comments or questions? All in favor of the budget amendments?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Nicole, 16.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the abstract for payment of claims dated January 25th, 2021 for fiscal year ending in 2021, covering check numbers 99318 to 99400. From the general fund, $71,057.50. From the water fund, $9,754.16. From the refuse fund, $975.07. From the trust fund, $975.07 for a total of $83,646.73. And the payment of claims statement is attached.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or corrections or questions on the payment of claims? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 17, Joe.
Whereas by resolution adopted July 10th, 2019, the resolution, the Planning Commission of the Village of Pleasantville granted approvals for the construction of a mixed-use building and associated improvements at property located at 70 Memorial Plaza, Pleasantville, New York, and designated on the tax map of the town of Mount Pleasant as section 106.5, block 2, lot 31, subject to a requirement that the applicant file with the village a bond, letter of credit, or other security in the form acceptable to the village attorney and approved by the village board of trustees in an amount as determined by the village building inspector and/or the village engineer as sufficient to secure to the village the satisfactory construction, installation, and completion of the required public improvements and the roadways, water and sewer facilities, drainage and erosion controls, and soil stabilization improvements as applicable. And whereas Pleasantville Lofts LLC submitted a performance bond issued by Atlantic Specialty Insurance Company in the amount of $548,200 and so I'm not sure what that number is. $548,2025.50.
Got an extra.
Bond 800070968. Can we go back to that number?
Eric, is that 5 million or is it an extra?
No, it's 548,000 something.
$225.50.
Right.
Okay, so
Extra zero.
Right. You can see that in the attachment. So it's $548,225.50.
great, bring it back.
Okay.
$548,225.50. And whereas the village attorney and the village engineer have reviewed the bond and finds the bond and related documents in acceptable form and amount respectively, now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Pleasantville Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the acceptance of the site improvement performance bond described herein, and as is more specifically set forth in the attachment.
Is there a second?
Second.
So all in favor of the resolution as amended to get rid of the stray zero?
Just a quick question before that.
Yeah.
So as I understand it, this is the bond essentially is them offering a surety for the cash value of the work that they're performing on Cooley Street for the sewer, the water main, the drainage, all that.
That's correct. And the repaving to include Cooley Street as well as the Cooley Street parking lot.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. David, number 18.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the appointment of Michael Gallagher to motor equipment operator, job code 0427 CSEB, wage schedule B, step 1, annual salary $64,000, effective February 1, 2021. Said appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 12 weeks to a maximum of 52 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second.
Then attaches a memo from Jeff O'Connor, our superintendent, recommending the hiring of Michael Gallagher,
We
filling an empty slot.
Yep, that's what I was going to mention. That fills a vacant spot we've had in the department for a few months now.
Comments or questions? Welcome, Michael Gallagher. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. We stop share. That's the end of our set of resolutions. Is there any comment or question from any member of the board on any subject?
I'm curious, Mayor, I'm curious what is happening with the leaf blower discussion?
So we continue to receive commentary from that, although it's started to dwindle. Have not had any emails in the last week. It's leafblowers@pleasantville-ny.gov in case anyone has any questions. So what we need to do in the next month or so is reconvene as a group and also talk to folks on both sides of the issue. I have done a bit of that anecdotally, and as I think was clear from our public meeting, folks feel very strongly on both sides of the issue. So I think we just got to find a way to determine what makes sense for us to recommend as proposed restrictions, if any. Anybody else think otherwise?
How
Well,
many-
it's been a little while since we had that public meeting. I feel like it would be useful to maybe go back over the comments. You said that there are people who feel strongly on both sides of the issue, but my sense is that there's more than just two positions, right? There was
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Yes,
I
it's
think
an octagon.
it's true that people don't want leaf blower restrictions. It's true that people want not restrictions, they want them outlawed. And then it's true that there are people in between when there's all different kinds of discussions, whether we for a few months out of the year allow them, but then the rest of the year not, certain days maybe. So it's all over the place. It's all the whole spectrum of the uses of leaf blowers. It's all over. So
maybe, Peter, I would be willing to go back through the commentary and maybe summarize the different positions and suggestions that have been made. And maybe we could use that as a springboard to figure out what the next best step is.
That would be much appreciated. Thank you for that. I just want to, in the category of sort of controlling our expectations for the coming month, the month of February, we've got to get this police reform thing fairly well wrapped up. So that may, because there's the state mandated deadline, if you could do that to put all of this in context, Nicole, that'd be great.
Okay.
I do think we probably need to come to either some resolution or no resolution before the spring.
Right, that's what I was thinking too.
Right.
We're kind of between the police form and this, we're really kind of stuck.
Right.
Short amount of time.
All right. Any comments from the public of any kind? All right. We have a brief executive session on matters of real estate and personnel. So is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, friends, we'll be signing off the Zoom call and returning to an executive session conference call. You guys have the login in your email. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing all of you back at our next regular meeting, which is on Monday, February 8, work session at 7, regular session at 8. And at the 8 o'clock session, we'll be joined by Troy Tassier of the Pool Task Force to present the results of their survey and some preliminary thoughts about all of that. So thank you all and good night.